This is for Algebra 1. This is S1P9, number 1. Charles graphed a series of y equal ax squared plus 2 equations. As he decreased the value of a from 3 to 2 1/3 to 1, and finally to 1/3, how did each new graph compare to the previous graph? Well, if you remember your rules about changing a, that's super, it's fast, it's easy. But if you don't, what you want to do is go to y equal and put each of these equations in. So go to y1, and it's going to be 3x squared plus 2, because we put 3 in for a. 3x squared plus 2. Then at y2, you're going to do 2 1/3. And the way you would probably do this to make sure you had it right, it would be like 2 plus parentheses 1 divided by 3. That's a weird way to write 2 1/3, but it works. X squared plus 2. And then at y3, it's going to be 1/3 x squared plus 2. So the only thing difference in any of these equations is going to be the number in front of x squared. So we need to watch and see what happens each time. So we'll go zoom 6. Here's my first one. Here's my second one. And here's my third one. And I'm thinking that if I watch that, what happened to each graph? Did it get wider? Did it get narrow? Did it go left? Or did it go down? Well, each one's a little bit wider. So remember that when you're looking at the number in front of x squared, the smaller it is, the wider the graph is. We learned that. All right, looking at number 2. Which inequality best describes the graph shown below? All right, it's a solid line, so it has to have a line. Line, 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 line. That didn't help. They shaded below, so that means it is less than or equal to. Could be, can't be, can't be. The y-intercept is -2, so it's got to have -2 at the end. That works, that works. The line goes down to the right, which means that we have a negative slope. That's a positive slope. Here's your answer. You could also pick points that are in the shaded area, plug them in, and see if they make it work. But my suggestion is to use the things you know about shading, about slope, about y-intercept, and eliminate like what I just did. The difference between the perimeters of two different squares is 16 inches, and the sum of their perimeters is 40 inches. If x represents the length of the side of the larger square and y represents the length of a side of the smaller square, which of these systems of equations can be used to find the dimensions? Okay, I like to draw pictures. We have a big square and we have a small square. And x is the big one and y is the small one. The difference, what does that mean? That means subtract between the perimeters, which means to add all sides, is 16. So take the perimeter of the first one, which would be x plus x plus x plus x, which is 4x, minus the perimeter of the second one, which would be y plus y plus y plus y, which is 4y, is equal to 16. The sum, which means to add the perimeters, well, we already said it was 4x and 4y for the perimeters. Add them, and you should get 40. So 4x minus 4y equals 16, and 4x plus 4y equals 40 is this one. All right, scuba divers can use the graphed linear function below to find the relationship between water pressure in terms of multiples of the atmospheric pressure at 0 feet sea level and their diving water depth. Okay, remember, you don't even have to read that, so don't get caught up in all those words. Look at your graph, read the question. According to the graphed relationship, at what depth would the water pressure be equal to 4 atmospheres? Atmospheres is here, so this is 3.5. It's going to be like right here, right? So you've got to extend this line. So we went over, and then we're going to go over one. So it ought to be like right about here. So where would this be at? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Looks to me like it would be really close to 90. Okay, none of those are working exact. What else could you do? I have 2 points. You could take them to stat. So stat, edit. My x values are 3 and 2. My y values are 66 and 33. So go stat, calc 4 because it's a straight line. We have 33x minus 33, okay? 33x minus 33, and we want x to be 4. So we're going to say at our home screen, 33 times 4 minus 33, and we get 99. There's your answer. Patricia works at an electronics store. She is paid $9 an hour plus a 6% commission on her total sales. Which of the following best represents E, her monthly total earnings, if she works 160 hours and has a total sales of S dollars? Okay, she is paid $9 an hour. Plus means plus. 6% commission, okay? 0.06 on her sales. Sales has to be here. Okay, the only thing we did not include was the an hour. Did they tell us how many hours? 160. So it's actually 9 an hour, so it's 9 times 160 hours plus 0.06 over commission. You should know that it can't be this and it can't be this because they didn't change 6% correct. And then you need to know that 9 was just money. It doesn't get changed. So your answer is D. You don't have to read this. What is the maximum number of packages of dried fruit that would make exactly 200 ounces? All right, 200 ounces is the title of the graph, so any of these points gives me 200 ounces. I need maximum, which is the biggest, of dried fruit. Here's my fruit. What's the biggest we ever had? 50 is your answer. Okay, it's a positive number. If you want to fill in the plus on your little answer thing, you can. And then 50.